Welcome to the gaming news of the week. This week we have some news about Dragon Age Dreadwolf, the next installment to the Dragon Age franchise. The Dragon Age Dreadwolf release date is set for launch early 2025 or even within 2024, as hinted by industry insider Jeff Grubb and financial reports from Electronic Arts. BioWare, the development company behind the Mass Effect saga, has been working for several years on the latest installment of the Dragon Age saga, which will be featuring Solas, a character we already know from Dragon Age Inquisition as one of its protagonists. In a recently published video, Jeff Grubb noted that Dreadwolf should be in the lineup for Summer Games Fest or within some sort of showcase ran by EA themselves, and we should be seeing the game before the end of the year. He also relayed that developers at BioWare are happy with how the game is shaping up. Additionally, in the financial report analyzing the fiscal year for Electronic Arts, we can see that it mentions two titles for the fiscal year of 2025, one of which may be possibly the anticipated Dreadwolf. Based on the studio's previous statements and the comments in the fiscal report, it is suggested that Electronic Arts plans to release Dragon Age Dreadwolf before the end of the fiscal year 2024, that is before March 2025. Next up is some news about the Lies of P DLC. The release window for the Lies of P DLC has been confirmed as a part of NeoWiz's financial report. The South Korean industry has been seeking a place in the market to establish itself as an AAA development powerhouse for years. While Stellar Blade is currently at the forefront of everyone's minds due to its recent launch, Lies of P made it clear in 2023 that there is a market for Korean developments and eager teams ready to create. NeoWiz has presented its financial report with very favorable results, which in turn has confirmed the release window for the Lies of P DLC. According to the financial report, the Round 8 studio team is working on this content expansion with the aim of releasing it in the second half of 2024. Before Lies of P launched, the first glimpse of the game came during Gamescom 2022 as part of the Xbox conference. This leaves us with two possibilities for the DLC. Either this will repeat in this summer's event, or Xbox will rally around one of its big Day 1 launches on Game Pass and present it next June. Either way, for now all we can do is wait to get more news. Next up is some news about EA and including ads in their AAA games. EA is currently considering adding advertisements to its video games, as Andrew Wilson, CEO of EA, was asked about it in the company's latest fiscal report. EA and ads on their games have a highly criticized history, but their current CEO doesn't rule out adding them to consoles and computers. Andrew Wilson seems to be considering and weighing ways to add advertising to their AAA games like Star Wars Jedi Survivor or Tales of Kenzara Zhao. This is what has been seen in their latest fiscal report, where the CEO of EA was asked about plans to add ads in a more dynamic way to more traditional AAA titles. Wilson's response goes against everything they've said before. In his words, "We have internal teams in the company studying how to make very thoughtful additions to our gaming experiences." The potential inclusion of advertising in AAA games raises several questions, both in terms of its practical execution and its impact on the digital entertainment industry. There is a lot of concern that advertising would negatively affect immersion and user experience, breaking narrative cohesion and distracting players' attention. Additionally, there are fears about how the introduction of ads could affect the fairness and integrity of the game, prioritizing profitability over the player experience. Some advocate that the manner in which ads are implemented could offer a more realistic and contextually relevant experience. For me personally, the only way I could see this possibly working are ads in games where it's already a big theme, like in Cyberpunk 2077 or The Finals. The CEO also stated, "As we think about the many billions of hours spent playing, creating, watching, and connecting, where much of that engagement is at the boundaries of a traditional gaming experience, our expectation is that advertising has the opportunity to grow." Next up for the news of the week is about Square Enix. Square Enix will make numerous changes to the company that affect everything from the types and quantity of games they produce to the platforms they are released on, as well as their marketing strategy, internal structure of development and publishing teams, the possibility of acquiring other companies, a focus on transmedia content, and the intention for their titles to be sold over longer periods. The company behind Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and Kingdom Hearts has announced an operational business plan until the fiscal year ending on March 31st, 2027, which they have named the Reset and Awakening of Square Enix, 3 years of foundation for long-term growth. The plan is divided into 4 pillars. The first pillar focuses on game development. Square Enix aims to achieve a stable release schedule, shifting from quantity to quality by considering both developer concerns and customer feedback and data. To achieve this goal, they will reorganize how the development part of the company functions. Instead of being organized into units, it will be structured around projects, and developers will move between them. The second pillar is the transition to a multi-platform strategy. While Square Enix has relied on temporary exclusivity deals in recent years, especially with PlayStation and Nintendo, they will now aggressively pursue publishing their AAA titles on PC, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox to create an environment where more customers can enjoy their titles. The third pillar is structural reforms, which have already begun in Europe and North America. Western offices will be more integrated with the Japanese company. Additionally, they aim to reform their hiring and promotion system, offer educational programs to their employees, and create a hybrid work structure that combines remote work with office work. Lastly, they plan to invest 641 million USD over the course of the next 3 years, making strategic investments including non-organic investments, for example acquisition of other companies to expand their business and create better stability. Next up for the news of the week is God of War Ragnarok possibly arriving on PC. It is expected that during May, Sony will host a PlayStation Showcase event, showcasing short-term novelties and upcoming productions, such as the Silent Hill 2 remake. Among these announcements, it's highly likely that the launch of Ragnarok on PC will be included, as per rumors from D Labs. During its release week for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 in November 2022, God of War Ragnarok sold more than 5 million copies, reaching 11 million in its first quarter. Thanks to these numbers, Sony confirmed it as the best-selling first-party game of the company up to that point. Kratos' latest adventure surpassed 15 million units sold in November 2023, demonstrating why it is one of the most sought-after and influential titles in gaming in recent years. Additionally, a month later, it received its free expansion, God of Ragnarok Valhalla. There is also speculation that PlayStation will reveal the PlayStation 5 Pro, the new version of its latest console that may possibly be available by the end of the year. Make sure you keep an eye out on Sony's social media channels, as the announcement of PlayStation Showcase 2024 seems imminent. Next up, we have some more news about Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. In just over a month, Elden Ring will receive the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion, which is not only expected to be its major expansion, but has also been confirmed to be the only one it will receive, hinting that From Software may be already considering its next big project. However, before that comes to light, we have to expect the best from Shadow of the Erdtree, a DLC that is currently in full promotion. While silence has been one of From Software's main characteristics with marketing, it must be said that since its revelation, little by little we are learning more about Shadow of the Erdtree and everything this Elden Ring expansion has to offer, including the confirmation that it will not have as many endings as Elden Ring. Additionally, we have recently been introduced to an enemy that bears a striking resemblance to one from Bloodborne. Veteran PS4 players will remember that in Bloodborne there was an enemy called the Brain of Mensis, an enemy with a massive brain covered in eyes that were terrifying to encounter. Although there is no confirmation that this is the inspiration for the new enemy, the official Elden Ring account has introduced a new enemy that strongly resembles the one we see in Bloodborne. We also saw another tweet showcasing an enemy with a broken mask, white hair, a grotesque body shape, and a hidden empty expression. This potential boss is quite unsettling. The tweet also contains text saying, "Terrifying enemies of unfathomable power await you in the Shadow Realm." Its large size and those blades are sure to cause quite a few deaths among fans. As a part of the pre-release hype campaign, From Software is drip-feeding us content, and this has pleasantly surprised fans. It's quite likely that with a month ahead of its release, there may still be more enemies and material from Shadow of the Erdtree to be revealed. But until then, remember that this expansion will be released on June 21st, 2024, available on all versions of Elden Ring on the market. Next up is some celebratory news from Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Rise, the latest title in the franchise, has surpassed 15 million sales worldwide, pushing the franchise to its absolute peak. The series is at one of its best moments, and Capcom doesn't hesitate to express it, as they communicated that the franchise has surpassed 100 million units sold worldwide. It was a steady and balanced rise thanks to the release of great titles in recent years, such as Monster Hunter World in 2018 and Monster Hunter Rise in 2021. It's a clear example of a franchise that transcended generations to go beyond the niche in which they originated. This moment marks a crucial milestone for the company, as subsequent games, like Monster Hunter Rise and its expansions, had even more significant endorsement upon release. Through updates, bug fixes, and additional content like Sunbreak, the company kept its community active and interested while preparing them for the arrival of the next title in the saga, Monster Hunter Wilds. This new installment was announced at the Game Awards 2023, with its release anticipated for 2025, although without a specified exact date. Next up for the news of the week is about Greedfall 2. Greedfall 2 got a new trailer and roadmap via Nakon and developer Spider Studios. The Donegata trailer of the new Greedfall game was released alongside with a new image and the early access roadmap. Greedfall 2 The Dying World is an RPG that focuses on story and player choice, but also improves on its predecessor by adding new gameplay mechanics and more tactical combat. Greedfall 2 is a sequel, and given the 2 million player success of the first game, it is poised to be one of Nakon's major releases in the coming months or years. Unlike its predecessor, this sequel puts us in the shoes of a native who lives near the island of Tirfra-D. We become enslaved and are taken to the location of the original game. from our remote native village. The game will launch this summer in early access, but only for PC via Steam. The PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S versions will arrive sometime in 2025, once the early access version on Steam is sufficiently polished. The game features a much more refined combat system than its predecessor, but also other RPG mechanics. We will have various talents such as stealth, survival, or diplomacy, and we can develop them as we wish. If it looks interesting to you, be sure to check out the early access this summer. Last up for the news of the week is about Enotria The Last Song. Enotria The Last Song has officially delayed its release date. AAA Games, the Italian studio behind the Souls-like RPG, has made several announcements related to the title. Firstly, a new delay in the release date. It's moved from August 21st to September 19th. Secondly, that extra time allows them to bring back the version of Xbox Series X and S, which had been halted. It will also be released on PC and PlayStation 5. In addition to the release date change, players can engage with a substantial demo to check out the game ahead of time. The demo will be available on May 22nd for PC and PS5, and will last for approximately 8 hours, but it won't be available for download on Microsoft's latest generation consoles, which Souls-like fans can expect by the end of the summer. The title is aiming to stand out from other games in the genre through its setting and gameplay possibilities. Instead of the darkness and decay of the worlds where these types of adventures take place, it opts for a summery Italy with vibrant colors, aiming to bring the culture and rich history of the Mediterranean country to new audiences. Ardor, the protagonist, will be able to influence the behavior of enemies, dynamically alter the scenario, solve puzzles, and control the elements that bring the world of Enotria to life. This may be the next big Souls-like, so make sure you keep an eye out for it. So that's about it for this week's news. If you're interested in supporting the channel, be sure to leave a comment, let us know what you think about all the news, and check out our VIP subscription on the website for some exclusive supporter benefits. We will be seeing you next week.